You know, I happen to also believe that the counter revolution is sort of anti-clickbait. It's anti just saying what they want to hear. And it goes back to that sort of Ron Paul authenticity. And I've argued for years that Bernie Sanders essentially had the same ethos. Like, how is it that Ron Paul and Bernie Sanders both galvanized the imagination of young people? I think part of it was that they were saying what they believed, and not necessarily in the most articulate way, not necessarily looking like the coolest kids on the block. And the difference, I think, is that um, the not the difference, but like there's this clash, right, between clickbait, the Charlie Kirks of the world, who are always and there's a left analog to Charlie Kirk. I don't know who it is right now. Um, Maybe it's AOC. I don't know. I don't know if she doesn't have sort of the history of being as authentic as Bernie has, but maybe she will someday. But the counter revolution is authenticity, and I hate using that word because it's a corporate buzzword now. But like honesty, like speak the truth, truth's power, all that stuff. And I hope that you and I and a bunch of people that are trying to do this break through. But it is tempting to go the clickbait route because, if you get the eyeballs, then you can sell the ads, and the whole system is designed to encourage bad behavior, it feels like.
Sure. I mean, and you have to be a marketer to some extent too. So, I mean, sure, I might cater a podcast title sometimes to be a title that might attract more people because that's part of marketing to an extent. But it's really just keeping that content really feeling authentic. That's what's going to keep people there. Especially, I mean, there's always certain trending terms, I mean, that might be in the news. And if I talk about it in an episode, sure, I might make sure that term is in the title of the episode. Because we do always need to be thinking about these things to some extent. But at the same time, you can clickbait away all day long and get the clicks. You can get the initial clicks through many tactics, but getting the clicks isn't going to help you grow a community. Getting the clicks, you could spend your whole life just spending money on getting clicks and all of this. But if the clicks are not actually clicking, if they're clicking but not clicking in their minds, clicking in their heart and soul with what you're doing and what you're putting out there, then they're ultimately meaningless clicks, and they're not actually doing anything to build a community and so to sort of build a niche little group around your podcast or a podcast, or what I say podcast because that's what I do, but it could be anything. It could be a YouTube channel, it could be any kind of media at all. Really the direction of the future here, really the present more than the future, but is really building communities, building brands, building your own personal brand, building your own credibility, your own authority in certain spaces. Because at the end of the day, I think the way the economy is going, almost everyone has to have their own brand if they really are going to want to make anything of themselves. It doesn't even really matter what that is. I mean, even if you're a freelance plumber, you could probably do well to build a brand around that and have you become known as like the friendly, cool plumber in your area, and that's your brand, because we're going to have to brand ourselves in some way, shape, or form because the corporate structure is collapsing and changing rapidly. And most of the corporate jobs that we see out there right now are either not going to exist in 5 or 10 years, or they're going to be so radically different that they're either not going to pay as much, or they're just going to it's going to be so different than what anybody has now that many people are going to be displaced, including people that feel very, very comfortable in their current position, including people that think to themselves, a robot can never do my job. It can. It's going to.